Hello everyone, how's it going? This is Alpha Core HD Gaming and here we are in Hungary for round number 11 of this championship. We're at the Hungaroring and we've got an R&D objective here where we've got to be off the brakes for 83% of the lap over a 3-lap run, and that will give us a 5% brake efficiency increase. It's not really where we need to improve the car. I mean, it will help a little bit in terms of braking into the corner. It's going to help us with that, but the car does need to have some. It needs to have some traction and downforce improvements to the rear of it, and possibly some suspension improvements on the rear to make sure that the traction improves a little bit, and that'll improve our lap time. But I think we're going to get those later on in the season. I think in the next couple of races we might be getting a couple of those improvements. But we've completed that brake efficiency test, so that'll hopefully give us a little bit of a performance improvement. We're in practice here, and you can see we've done 19 laps, and the reason I've done that is because this isn't my favourite track. It's one of the tracks where I need a lot of practice. I just can't seem to get a feel for it, and the flow of this track's just not. I don't really like it very much, and the final part of the lap I think's a little bit clumsy, and it's all just stopping and starting. And I prefer fast flowing tracks. I'm better at them. It doesn't mean we're not going to go well. I mean, we still will go well because I'm putting a lot of practice in, so we'll still do quite well in this race, I think. Qualifying is going to be wet, so I don't know how wet it's going to be. It could be wet, full wets, it could be intermediates, but with that in mind, we've gone with a high downforce setup. So the car we've gone with full downforce 11, I think it is, just to compromise on, because there's no point having a good race car if you're back in like 18th or 19th on the grid, because then you get held up by traffic, and by then the leaders will be gone anyway. So it's better to set the car up for qualifying, even if the race is going to be dry. So we've gone with a wet setup really for qualifying, and we'll sort of wet, sort of dry. It's somewhere in between, and hopefully the car will be good enough to get us up in a good qualifying position, and then we can go from there in the race, and hopefully the race pace will be decent. You can see this lap here, we're 3/10 up on our fastest time. The track has improved a bit. There is more time in the car. This isn't like the perfect lap, and there is 8 laps of fuel on board the car, and we are in lean mix at the moment, but you'll see we do go a lot quicker, and Hamilton's done a 124.068. We've done a 124.4, so we're 3.5 tenths off him. As I said, there is more time, and we are carrying a lot of fuel, but hopefully in the race we're going to be quick enough to keep up with the leading cars. That's really our aim. So practice finished, and we finished in 3rd. Our teammate finished well down in 10th. He did a 126.0. He probably ran the prime tyres, and he probably wasn't pushing that hard, but he's well down there, and there's the rain. It's absolutely chucking down. It's been disappointing a little bit, a bit frustrating, because the rain's been. We've only had one fully dry qualifying session. That was Silverstone, and Austria was half wet, half dry. Germany was fully wet, and Canada was fully wet as well, I think. So it's been a little bit frustrating because we haven't been able to show our real pace or really see how the car is in qualifying on some of these tracks where we probably could have done a lot better in qualifying, but it is what it is. And here's our second lap of qualifying, so we've already done one lap, and you can see it's a 1:36.096, which isn't really quick enough yet. You see we're down in 7th, and we are going to drop down a bit more, I reckon, because we're 2 seconds off the pace. We've got Max Chilton ahead of us, so he's kind of putting us off a little bit and holding up a little bit. But this section, I don't think we're particularly quick through. We run a little bit wide, as you can see, so it's not the fastest first sector we've done ever. And get a little bit of wheel spin and a little bit of sliding going on coming out of the corner. But we'll catch him to Chilton. He does slow down there and he lets us past, which wasn't really helpful. He should have got out of the way if he was going to do that earlier on. And you can see we've 8 tenths down. We're nearly 3 tenths down on our fastest first sector time there, as you can see. So wasn't particularly quick first sector, but hopefully we can pick up some time in the second sector and the third sector and improve this lap. You see we're currently down in 10th. We're between, or 11th now, between Maldonado and Button. People seem to be improving, so we've got to improve as well. So coming out this corner, a little bit slidey to say. I like this next corner. I like this corner a lot because you just fling the car in and turn it in, but in the wet it's a lot slower. But it's these next couple of corners that it just seems quite clumsy to me. This part of the lap, it's just so slow, and you know, it's just, I don't know. There's just something about it I don't like, especially when you're in a car where the traction's not very good. Because when you come out of here, you're losing a lot of time to the Mercedes and the Red Bulls. So it's like you're fighting. You can do well in the first part of the lap, and then the final part of the lap you lose a bit of time. So coming over the finish line, and what have we got? We got a 1:35.796, which is a 3/10 improvement. So we gained half a second over the whole lap, pretty much, because we were 2 tenths down, and we gained half a second in the second and third sector there, which has put us in 9th place, which should be good enough to go through. Good news is we're quicker than Lewis Hamilton. I don't know what he's doing. Quicker than Pastor Maldonado, quicker than Jensen. We're slower than Felipe in that session. But it's been like that all year, practically, on these longer tracks. The other Williams has been faster, and there's a few reasons for that, but I'd say we've gone through them already in the other videos earlier in the season. But Kvyat did a 1:38, Magnussen did a 1:37, Chilton did a 1:37. So we're quicker than those, which is good news. But we're like well down. We're like 1 point odd down, 1.9 down on the leading cars there. We're talking like Rosberg's and Ricardo's and Vettel's and stuff. That we're quite a way down on them. But it's just been like that all season. There's nothing much you can do. It's just when it gets drier, hopefully we're gonna perform a little bit better. So you can see the intermediates are next to the car. And Hamilton's in a 1:29.1, so that means the track's getting a bit drier, but I wouldn't expect us to be able to match that because that Mercedes is absolutely mighty around this track, it seems. But we've come over the line. We've done a 1:31.4, which isn't our best lap. We've actually done 5 laps, and this is our 6th one so far. We did a 1:31.1 earlier on, and that lap was a little bit slower, but we're going round again because I'm not happy with that lap anyway, and that's the time of the session up. So we've got to go around anyway. This is our final attempt, and we've got a 1:31.1, which is our current time. We're in 10th, so it's not all bad news. We have made it through so far. Kvyat's a little bit slower than us. This is kind of to cement our position in the session, make sure we get through. And see, we're a second down, but we're nearly a 10th and a half up on our best lap time. A little bit slidey. We're in lean mix still because we don't want to go rich and standard and lose the back end. A little bit of a corner cut there. We went a bit too far with that curb. We're pushing very hard. We're just trying to keep the car inside the lines though as well without sliding off. But we are pushing quite hard. We haven't given up on this lap, and I am looking for an improvement because it doesn't look like the qualifying is going to be fully dry. So it looks like it's going to be another intermediate session coming up next, which is why I'm pushing hard, just to get a feel for the car and see what the limits of the car are in terms of grip. And hopefully with doing this we'll be better in qualifying 3 because we'll have learnt more about the track and where we can push and which corners we can put a little bit more in on, and where we can gain a little bit more time. But coming around the final corner, and we're on a 1:27, 1:28, 1:29, 1:30.9. So we improved by a couple of tenths, which has left us 3 tenths clear of Daniel Kvyat. We're still half a second down on Felipe, and we're 1.7 down on the leading cars. We're about a second off Fernando Alonso, so it's not too bad. Qualifying 3, as you can see, it's still pretty wet, and the intermediate's still out. It's not going to get dry enough to go on the full dry tyres, so hopefully we're going to improve on our performance in qualifying 2 and just get a decent result in qualifying 3 and just at the moment I'd take midfield, like mid top 10, like 5th or 6th. That'd be pretty good. In the dry I would have probably expected to get like 3rd or 4th or 2nd or something like that. Something around the second row of the grid. If it had a push, 1st row of the grid, but I think 2nd would be a bit too much of an ask. But 2nd row of the grid would be pretty good. But in the intermediates, I think 5th or 6th would be a decent result, considering we've got a pretty decent race car underneath us, and we've got them with high downforce, so we should be pretty competitive in the race. So coming through this first sector, see that corner, we didn't take that very well at all. We could have gained more time there. We were sliding all over the place, and you can see what's the time here. It's a 1:32 point something, which is half a second down on Rosberg at the moment, but a 10th up on our fastest lap time. So we've currently done a 1:30.4 early on, and you can see we're very low on fuel at the moment. Coming through this chicane, it's very tricky because you can see as soon as you hit the curbs, the car just steps out a little bit. But again, we're pushing very hard. We haven't given up at all on this lap, when we're just hoping to improve our time, because I don't want to be out qualified by Felipe, and if we can, we want to be pushing a bit further up the grid than 9th place. It's just a little bit too low at the moment, and we're 2 tenths up, we're 3 tenths down on Rosberg, so we're only 3 tenths off the leader, so we gained a 10th in the middle sector, which is pretty good stuff. And it's just these final corners where we've got to be really careful and just make sure we don't lose the back end too much and just get the car accelerating down this straight. So waiting an age to press on the throttle there, and coming towards the line, we have done a 1:30.1, which is actually good enough to beat Felipe by a 10th and a half. So we've improved up to 6th place, and we just marginally missed out on 5th. As you can see how close we are to Kevin Magnussen, and Sebastian Vettel's 3 tenths over the road, so we don't think we could have got him. But if we just improved a tiny bit more, maybe in the 2nd corner, we could have probably had Magnussen and finished 5th, but for that reason we failed our objective, which has made the engineer look at us like we're the worst driver in the world, and we're shaking our hands saying why we've done so badly, and he's going to give us a hug now, but he thinks we're rubbish, even though it was wet and we out-qualified Felipe. But here we go, we're at the race, and we're getting in the car. I think we're going to go with options at the start. I'm not sure though, we'll see in a second. We're strapping ourselves in, and the teammate challenge is probably going to come up in a second, because I normally like to have a look at that. The race strategy, we're going with options and then primes. Are we going with primes? Okay, we're going with primes and options, so we're going with the same kind of strategy we did in Hockenheim. And you can see it's a 0% chance of rain. Here's the setup: 11-11 on the aerodynamics, then 48-52 high and standard, 11-11, 11-1, 8 and 6 on the suspension there. I went through that pretty quickly, so if you want to have a look at that, just pause the video as I'm going through it. You can see qualifying 3 is not showing our time again. You've seen qualifying 3 anyway though, but it's some sort of weird glitch. It's just not showing our qualifying time. You can see we're 6th place between Magnussen and Raikkonen, and our teammates in 9th, and Rosberg's on pole ahead of Hamilton, Alonso and Vettel. I'm probably going through that a little bit too quickly, so if you want to have a look at that, just pause it. Here you can see the component that I was talking about. It's going to give us an increase in overall downforce by 10%. Front and rear wing improvements has actually failed, but that's going to come in around about Monza, which it sounds silly, but it will help in Monza because it'll allow us to run lower downforce and make the car more stable even when we're running lower downforce. So it'll give us a little bit of an improvement around Monza. But we're going out the track now. They're taking the monitor away. They're firing the engine up. Our engineer is just waiting to lead us out the garage, and we're going to the grid. So here we are, we're in 6th place. We've got a Mercedes lockout, as you see Rosberg on pole with Hamilton behind him, then Alonso, then Vettel, and then we've got Magnussen just in front of us. We've got Raikkonen just behind us, our teammate in 9th. We're waiting on the grid. We're going down to lean mix just to minimise the wheel spin. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and we're away. We're on the prime tyres, remember, so we're going to get a bit of a slower start than other people. And we got Raikkonen's gone flying past us, and Massa, and I think that's Button. But hopefully we can just dive up the inside of these cars. There's enough room between Raikkonen and Vettel, and we're now up to 4th place. There's Alonso and Hamilton just ahead of us, and but Rosberg's already bolted. He's already gone a little bit, and Hamilton's just trying to chase him. And there's a little bit of room around the outside of Alonso. We touch wheels, but we're trying to go around the outside. We've got the inside of the next corner. We're on lean mix. We've got prime tyres, so he's got a little bit more grip than us. So crucially, Alonso's managed to hold on to that position, and so we're still down in 4th. We couldn't quite make the move stick. It could be crucial later on in the race, but we're down in 4th place, we're just ahead of Magnussen. So we gained 2 places off the start, and Rosberg and Hamilton are just ahead of us and ahead of Alonso. But we couldn't make the move stick on Alonso, so we're just going to have to sit behind him and hopefully keep up with him in this race, and hopefully we've got enough grip. But we are on the prime tyres, so we're going to be a little bit slower than the cars ahead of us in this stint. So hopefully we'll keep up, but these tyres are going to be a little bit slower, so they might pull out a gap to us. The plan is similar to Hockenheim, to try and hang on to these guys with the prime tyres and have the faster tyre at the end and keep up with them and hopefully overtake them. But whether that'll work or not, I don't know. We're a little bit slower here than we were in Germany. Hockenheim, we had a lot of pace, and Hungary, like I said, it's not one of my favourite tracks, so I don't particularly go very well here, but we'll see. Magnussen's very close to us. He's within 3/10 of us on this first lap, and coming to the second lap, but he's backed out of that move. He's put us off a little bit, which has made us run deep. Just seeing his car flash up on our right has put us off from our braking point, because we weren't paying attention to the boards on the left. We were more paying attention to Magnussen, making sure he didn't dive the inside of us. But coming around this corner, it's quite decent. We got good traction out of that one, but we've made a little bit of a gap to Magnussen because of him backing out. He's been challenged by the other cars. Alonso's already pulled out to 1.8 seconds, as you can see, so he's already pulled out a bit of a gap to us, and I'm not sure if we're going to be able to hang on to him. Magnussen's 1.5 to us now. Down a second gear for the chicane, just kicks another curve. When you put your power down, you can see it just kicks out to the left a little bit. Third gear through here, another fast chicane. Just trying to get the power down on the exit of the corner. Don't put too much down, because you will end up spinning off the right hand wall and having a crash. 4th and 5th gear, we run a little bit wide, just trying to see how much speed we can take for that corner. Down a second for this one, because sometimes I can get around it in 3rd, sometimes it's 2nd. It just depends on the entry of the corner, really, how stable the car is when you're changing the gears down. So Alonso's and the other cars are pulling out some time through this sector, especially through these final 2 hairpin corners, long hairpins. But we've done a 1 minute 25.7, and now DRS is enabled. Magnussen's within a second of us, so he's going to have DRS, but we're now 2.6 to Alonso, so we've dropped back a little bit more. You can see that the leaders aren't that far ahead, but we're on lap 3 and they've already got a bit of a gap to us, so it looks like they've already gone. And unless they have some sort of problem, or unless we have more pace than like in Silverstone, I don't think we're going to be catching at this point in time. Our teammates a little bit further back, and now we're just trying to settle our car down and just get into a rhythm and just continue on for a few till our next pit stop, and hopefully we're going to have enough pace on the option tyres on the softer compound to push a little bit more and get ourselves up there. But that remains to be seen. It's a completely dry race, so at this point we're going to be not worrying about the rain. There's no forecast rain for this track, so yeah, we're just going to have to settle down now for the rest of this stint, because Alonso and Rosberg and Hamilton look like they've gone. So while we're doing that, I'm just going to quickly mention, obviously it's the Malaysian Grand Prix this weekend, and thankfully it looks like Fernando Alonso's back in the McLaren. Where he's going to finish in that race it's probably going to be very low down, because that McLaren's not going to be very quick again. It's not going to suddenly find seconds of time like in Australia, but hopefully he'll have a decent race and just get a feel for the car and get back into it again, because it's been a shame that Alonso wasn't at the first race, so it's great to see him back. Hopefully those Saubers as well, hopefully Nasser and Ericsson are going to have another good race in the Grand Prix, because that was a really good surprise, and I hope that Red Bull, I hope that Kvyat gets a good race in the Red Bull, because he didn't even get to the grid last time, I don't think, so hope he gets to the grid and has a decent race, just because, I mean, it's his first race in the Red Bull, like, it will be his first race if he gets to the grid, but he's moved from Toro Rosso, and I just want to see him do well, and I want to see the Toro Rossos do well as well, because they've got Carlos Sainz in the car as well, so I just want to see them do well, and hopefully the Mercedes won't completely dominate, and we'll see a bit more of a race than last time round at the front, and whether that be with the weather causing it, or whether it's going to be just with the Mercedes having a problem, or just not being as quick as they were, which isn't really going to happen. But I just hope there's more of a race up front. I hope Vettel gets in there and causes a few problems for them, and just makes it a bit more interesting. Vettel, all the two Williams, just I don't know if Bottas is back or not. You have to tell me that, because I actually haven't seen whether Bottas is back. So if anybody knows whether he's coming back for this race or the next one, then let me know. But it would be nice to see Bottas back, and it'd just be good to see more of a race than we did in Australia, more of an interesting race up the front. I mean, there was lots of racing that went on behind the front cars, but it was just the front. Once those two had gone, then that was it, race over. And you see Magnussen there, just diving up the inside of us again. So we lose our braking point again because we're paying attention to Magnussen, because I didn't know if he was going to leave his car there and pull out or not, but he did. So we got Magnussen following us there very closely. We've pulled out a little bit of a gap on some of the other cars behind that, but there's 3 cars with Magnussen, and then there's a little bit of a gap, and then there's some more cars. Alonso's now 6 seconds, so he's pulling out roughly just over a second a lap on us on his option tyres. Towards the end of this stint, he'll probably get less tyre wear than us, because this car still has a bit more tyre wear than some of the other cars, and hopefully we'll be able to hang on. So yeah, we're just trying to hang on to him at the moment. So around this track, I like this corner, because you see here, watch 137 mile an hour in 5th gear. Once we get around that corner, it's a nice fast flowing corner, and we get turned in all right for that. And sometimes I miss the apex on that corner, because it's just really difficult to spot your braking point for that one. And when you come into that last hairpin there's a bump in the corner, so it kind of throws you out wide if you hit the bump. And then waiting to put the power down here. I like that corner. That corner's okay, that final corner, but it's just like some of the other ones that I just don't know what it is. I just don't like this track very much. It's like Spain. I just don't like Spain very much. The track, the country's fine. I don't like the track very much. Barcelona, Catalonia. So coming down to this turn, it's difficult to decide which gear to choose, because sometimes you can get around it in third, but then second gets the better turning. But then as you're exiting it, you get some instability because of the traction on the back of the car. And this one's a really difficult corner because it's blind, so you just kind of got to guess where the corner is. So it's 7.3 now to Alonso ahead of us, so a bit more of a gap. You see he's still pulling out a gap on us, more like around about a second a lap. And Magnussen's just clinging on to us at the moment. This is probably these 2 corners are probably my favourite corners of this track. The way it just flows left and right like that, and then you've got a bit of a flat out bit and then a right hander, and then it said that's probably about it. That's probably about the only part of the track I like on this track. So we've just about managed to hang on to Alonso. We haven't lost much more time. So we slide a little bit wide. They're still within reach, so those cars up ahead are still within reach, and we've still got another 4 laps to go before we've got to pit in for our option tyres. Coming on the final corner, get a little bit of a slide on there, up to rich mix. Again, Magnussen's still very close to us within 3 tenths. We've lost another 4 tenths to Alonso. Magnussen's got up inside of us again, and again we have to brake late, so we've gone a bit deep, which is throwing the car off a bit again. So didn't get the best exit, and that's cost us more time. So we're losing time to Alonso, not only because we're just on the prime tyres, but because we're fighting with Magnussen as well. But I can't let Magnussen go, because I can't be sure that I've got the pace in the second half of the race to keep up with him. Because if I let him go now, he might be somewhere up the road, and then we have to do all the overtaking on him again. And you can never kind of judge whether you're going to have the pace, especially when it's been wet in qualifying, and we've just gone straight from wet qualifying to this dry race. I don't know how much pace I've got on the options, because it's literally going to be from going wet to dry and then getting on the options. It's going to be a case of just guessing how much grip they've got, whereas the other drivers on the track, like Magnussen, they already know what grip they've got. They're programmed to know what grip they've got, and it's just basically guesswork. Once you get onto those tyres, you've got to push as hard as you can and see whether you've got the pace. And we were able to do 124.4 in practice, but the track's ramped up even more because of the grip that's come to it over the weekend. Even though it's been a wet qualifying, the track has evolved and there's more grip. But I'd say I don't know where that grip is and how much I can push until I get onto those tyres. So at this point, I'm keeping Magnussen behind me for that reason. I'm not going to let him go, even though he's been very, very forceful into the first corner, and he's now got Vettel, I think, with him. But I mean, we probably would lose less time if we just let these guys go and got clean air. But it's costing us time every time they come up alongside us, and I've got to brake late and miss my braking point just to keep them behind me. So Alonso's pulled away. It's coming on towards 10 seconds now for Alonso, 10.8. So see, we're losing handfuls of time at the moment just from defending from Magnussen, because we can't push, because if we push we could end up making a mistake and leaving the door wide open for one of these guys. So instead we're being quite cautious and just putting the car on the apexes and just slowing the corners down a little bit so we get the better exit. Once they've closed up behind us, then we can just pull away again, which is costing us time for the leaders. But I'd rather take fourth place than have a bunch of cars overtake me and then have to overtake them again later on. So 4 tenths quicker on this lap than our last lap. There's only going to be 2 laps now until we go into the pit lane. 2 of the cars have peeled off. I think that's the Mercedes. Is that both the Mercedes have peeled off in the pit lane? So what's going on with them? Why they've both peeled off at the same time? So that's going to is that Alonso? I can't see who's got in there. Who have we got? Right, so Alonso and who's that? Who else went in? Who's ahead of us now? Come on, tell me who's in first. Right, so Alonso and Hamilton have pitted in. So we've got Mercedes and a Ferrari have pitted in. So now we're ahead of them. We're into second place, and Magnussen's in third. We're feeling the tyre wear a little bit now, but the tyres feel okay, but they feel like they're going off a little bit. It's 14 seconds to Rosberg, so you can see how much pace he's got. Even though he's on the different compound of tyres, he's got so much pace in this track. And we're not going to really be able to catch him. I think we're looking here at fourth place, so I think Alonso's too far ahead as well. It's a bit disappointing considering we won in the last 5 races we won. Yeah, we won the last 5 races, and now this looks like it's going to be a fourth place. So it's a little bit disappointing, but there's nothing much we can do about it. We are pushing quite hard, but it's been another difficult weekend from qualifying for the race through to the race, just working out what setup to use in the car, and even getting ourselves up into the top 10 for starters in the qualifying session. So fourth place is a pretty good result, but that's only if we manage to hold on. But we've still got like a Vettel and Raikkonen behind us in 2 fast cars, and Magnussen's pretty quick as well. And so we look like one of the only cars that haven't pitted. So now we've overtaken Rosberg and we're in first place. It would be nice if it could stay like that and we could stay in first place and not have to pit, but we've got another 8 laps to go, nearly half the race distance, and we're coming into the pits this lap anyway, so I'm running very deep. And if you run deep on that corner there, you'll end up getting on the marbles, which will affect your exit, so will lose you even more time. But so we're losing grip now. The tyres are starting to wear down a bit, so it's time to come into the pits and just limit our damage. Rosberg's only 4 seconds behind because he had nearly a pit stop ahead of us in the first phase. So down to second gear, up to third as we exit it, down to third for this one. Just keep in the middle of the track and then flick to the right, third and then fourth as you come on the exit. Flat out and then down to fifth for this one, or fourth in our case, we wanted to get turned in because we weren't sure about the grip. All the way down to second or third here. We take second, run a little bit wide. You can see the car just starts to slide out. Rosberg's gained 6 tenths on us. Even though we're 3 tenths quicker on our last lap, we've just lost 6 tenths to Rosberg. He's on fresher tyres, fresher primes. We're coming to the pit lane now, down to second gear, just very carefully, just before you get the power down. We're going rich mix just to get that last bit of performance out of the car before we enter the pit lane. So we're into the pits now, and what have we got? Let's hope it's a normal stop. It's a 3.716, so it's a good stop. And we're coming out of the pit lane. Looks like Vettel's going to jump us. So Vettel has pitted a lap early, and he's gained a little bit of time on us. Magnussen as well. We just about kept Magnussen behind on the exit of the pit lane, but Vettel's jumped us, and that's not good news. I mean, we are on the faster tyre, but that extra lap that we were out on these tyres on the primes has allowed Vettel to get into fourth place. So now we're down to fifth, and we've got some work to do. We've got to pass Vettel now, otherwise we're going to finish in 5th place or lower. Hopefully we've got the performance on these tyres now. at this point, as soon as I saw Vettel come ahead of me, I thought, well, right, we've got to push, and it gave me a little bit of extra motivation to catch up to him and overtake him. You see I think, is that Alonso? Well, someone's going slowly. We've got another car going slowly. That can't be a back marker. We've got Vettel just ahead of us, and just ahead of us on the snake of the track, on the mini map, you can see there's another car just ahead of us going a little bit slowly. I don't know who it is, but there's quite a few cars going slowly here. It looks like we're closing up on people. I don't know what's going on, but it looks like something's going on ahead of us. And we're closing on Vettel, so we've got the pace. We've come out of the pit lane, we are closing on him, and it's a decent lap out of the pits, and we're going to have to push even harder. We're 1.3 behind Vettel at the moment, but it looks like we're catching him on these option tyres, and we've got a gap to Magnussen, so that's good. We've pulled out 2.5 on Magnussen, even though he was right behind us on the pit exit. But we're catching up to Vettel, and is that a Merc? Is that another Mercedes going slowly? There's something wrong with these Mercedes. They seem very fragile at the moment. Early part of the season they were very dominant and they were winning every race and running away with it, but it seems since we've hit midpoint of the season, or since we've hit form, and since we've got better performance and started to give them more of a run for the money, then it seems like they're having to push a bit harder, and it's causing them problems. And you can see here Vettel is closing right up behind this Mercedes. I don't know who it is, and we're right behind Vettel, so we're very close at the moment, and it looks like there's going to be some overtaking going on for us, and hopefully we'll get our fourth place back. I don't know why this Mercedes is going slowly. I don't know what's wrong with it, but it's bringing us right back into the race here, and we still can't see who it is. Who is it? It's Hamilton. So Hamilton's having another nightmare of a race. I don't know what's wrong with his car, but we're catching up to him right behind him now, and we've got Vettel just ahead of us. We're coming out the final corner. Can we get a good exit? We're going to have DRS. We're coming down this straight. We've got DRS open. We're right behind Vettel and Hamilton. And what are we going to do? We're coming right behind him, and Vettel's gone to the right. We've gone to the right. We've taken both the cars, braking very late, and we've moved up to, is that third place? So we've taken third place, and from being in fifth place after the pit stops, we've made up another position, and we've run very deep coming out that corner. We're just late on the brakes, and it's just allowed Vettel to close right behind us again. But we've come to third place, and Rosberg's now in second. So Alonso's taking the lead, and I don't know what's wrong with Rosberg as well. Where's Rosberg gone? It looks like Rosberg's retired. We're in P2. It's saying we're in P2, and Alonso's in first. So Rosberg's retired. Hamilton's got a problem. There's something going on at Mercedes right now, and the cars are very weak and fragile. It just looks like the Mercedes are falling apart, and they're just throwing this championship away. But we're in second place. It looks like Alonso's going to take the win from us, but we're in second, and we've got Vettel just behind us. We've just overtaken him on these option tyres. We've run very deep again, making a few too many mistakes for my liking. But Alonso's 12.7. We technically should be catching him on these tyres, but we've got Vettel all over the back of us, so we can't really. Again, it's like on the first stint with Magnussen, we can't really push and then slide off the track because we're making mistakes at the moment. It's not the best drive we've done. But 25.7, so our previous lap was a 24.6, and I think that was 80 with DRS, but we caught up to Vettel and then passed Hamilton, but we've lost another few tenths to Alonso, and we've got Vettel still over the back of us. Hamilton has dropped back even more, and he's got like a train of cars behind him, so I really don't know what's wrong with his car. We've got lots of fuel spare, but again, I'm not pushing these tyres too hard because the tyre wear in Hungary is horrendous. It's like in Spain, the tyres just seem to fall off for us, especially with this Williams. It just seems like the tyres just don't seem to last as long as the other cars. So we're trying to push, but not spin the wheels up and overly overheat the tyres, like overly push them, and hopefully we're going to do enough to hang on to second here, which is again another surprising result. It's in Silverstone we won the race because Hamilton, not because he had a problem, just because he was slow in the first stint, and then after that he sped up, and then Hockenheim we won just purely on pace over Ricciardo, and here we're in second place because the Mercedes had a problem, and I don't know what it was, but Hamilton's still running by the look of it, but Rosberg's gone completely. And there's 3 laps to go. There's No, sorry, there's 4 laps to go still, so got a long time to hang on, and this track is very... It's very unforgiving, so it's a bit like Monaco. It does live up to its name, Monaco, without the walls, but it does still have some walls in some areas, but it's very unforgiving if you make a mistake. There's some big curbs as well, especially that chicane. If you put a little bit too much power down, then you'll lose the back end and that'll be race over. And Hamilton in the real life race in 2014, if you follow Formula 1, you'll remember first lap on when he came out the pit lane on the intermediate tyres, he spun round and nearly ended his own race. So it's very easy just to drop it on this track, because a lot of it's slow speed. Because here we go through here, second gear. If you hit that left-hand curb or the right-hand curb too much, you can end up in one of the walls. And on the exit of this corner, if you put too much power down, you can end up in the right-hand wall, because the back end will just flick you out to the right. So we're coming through this fast corner now. There's a massive gap between me, Vettel, and the other cars, and there's a 13-second gap to Alonso. So we've got a decent gap. It's just we've got to beat Vettel now. We've got to hang on, and Vettel is in a much faster car than us. He's got much better downforce, and it should be a much quicker car on this track. Coming to the final corner. Now there's 3 laps left. We've got 2 laps of fuel as well on board, so we've got some extra fuel still. And we're coming down to the first corner. Vettel's not quite close enough this lap round, so we're actually allowed to choose our braking point now. So we haven't got a car diving from inside, so we can get our braking point a lot better. We can hit that. We don't run wide this time. We get turned in nicely and get quite a good exit. So the blind corner now, left-hander, 4th or 3rd gear. Sometimes we take 3rd just to turn in. We're up to 5th on the exit. Down to 3rd, about 90 mile an hour, 95 if you can get around that speed. Down to 2nd and then up to 3rd on the exit of this one. 3rd just to minimise the wheel spin. So this is quite a nice lap. We've got quite a nice flow to this lap. We've done quite well this time round. So the corner where I've made the most mistakes is probably the next one coming up, where I just seem to outbrake myself and just slide off. And we've done it. We've done it again a little bit. We got turned in a bit better. We went really slow around that corner, so we should have taken more speed around that hairpin. So you wait for an age for the car to turn in for this final corner. So now there's only 2 laps to go. Magnussen's like quite a way back from Vettel by the look of it. It's not going to show his time, is it? Is it going to show it? Yeah, 4.8. So there's some front wing there. So I don't know who that is, who that belongs to either. There's some front wing on the track, and I just don't know who that belongs to. That could didn't see what colour it was. If anybody knows what colour that wing was or what car that belonged to, then yeah, if you've seen that, then let me know. But yeah, someone's lost a front wing and had another incident. We run wide out of that corner, but the gap to Alonso is kind of just staying the same at the moment, 13.5. We've kind of neutralised his gap, and there's a back marker just ahead on the mini map, so we're gonna have to be wary of him. Hopefully he won't hold us up like in Austria. It's probably going to be Chilton again. It's normally is Chilton. Raikkonen just smashed the fastest lap, 124.055, and we're coming up fast on this back marker, whoever it is. We gained some time on Alonso. It says there's even more back markers, and there's only going to be 1 lap left after this. Who is it? Is it Chilton? Yeah, it's Max Chilton. He's going to hopefully get out of the way. Yeah, he looked like he was going left, then he went right, and he's actually pitted. I don't know why he's pitted on lap 17, but maybe it was him with the front wing. Maybe he lost the front wing. But Chilton's gone to the pit lane there, and we've done a 1 minute 26.2, so we're dropping off the pace. We lost time there on that final part of the lap. It's 13.3 to Alonso. Magnussen's gained about 8 tenths on us. There's 1 lap to go, and we're in 2nd place. And again, I didn't expect this, and I don't know what's gone wrong with the Mercedes in this race, but they've had another nightmare. It just seems like since we've pushed ourselves to the front of the field, the Mercedes just can't seem to handle it at the moment. We've got a few more corners to go. We've got like half a lap, and then hopefully we'll have 2nd place in this race and some more points in the championship and just extend our lead a little bit more. Third gear we get 95, so 94, so that's much better than last lap. We're 3/10 up on our previous lap. Down to second, can we get this turned in nicely? Yes, we can. A little bit too much though. A little bit too much turning. Nice turning there. And this is an example here, I think, of where you can drop it. So we put too much power down. You can see the back end steps out. We save it just about. Fourth gear around this corner. Up to fifth. Down to second or third for this one. There's 2 more corners to go. There's 2 hairpins, and we're going to have second place in Hungary on one of my least favourite tracks. We're going to finish with 18 points, so it's going to be a very, very, very good result for us here. Down to third gear, turning in. We can afford to do some wheel spin there at that final corner. Second place. Vettel very close, as you can see. Pulls alongside us basically to say, well done, you've got second place. And or maybe he's just shouting at us and telling us we should have got out of the way, but you know we finished second, and 14 seconds down Alonso, 10 seconds ahead of Jenson Button, and 4 seconds ahead of Kevin Magnussen. Our teammate 40 seconds down on the leaders, so again we've absolutely trounced Felipe, and Rosberg didn't finish, and Hamilton finished just ahead of our teammate in 7th place. So I don't know what happened to Hamilton, but or Rosberg. I think Rosberg just had a retirement from mechanical failure, but Hamilton, something else must have happened to him. But 200 points for us now, 153 to Rosberg, so 47-point gap, and Alonso's now up to third in the championship, so we've got to watch out for him because he's been having some good races lately. But our teammate's down 11th with 26 points. Hamilton's now dropped down. Constructors' Championship, we're on 226, so we're 51 points behind Mercedes. Again, not the most exciting race because we got into clean air and there wasn't many overtakes, but I hope you enjoyed it. There we are celebrating the podium, and the next race is going to be in Spa, one of my favourite tracks, and hopefully it's going to be a good race. And there's Alonso celebrating his win with Vettel in third place. Anyway, you've been absolutely amazing as always for watching. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment, and I'll see you soon in the next race.